All right. Let's do this. Why do I still have my glasses on? Actually, I'll keep my glasses on today. How about that? It might be a glare. I'm not going to keep the glasses on. All right. Put those glasses. Alrighty, YouTube, what is going on? Welcome back to the video. Hope you're doing super well. Welcome back to the channel. You're new to the video, so welcome to the video. Welcome back to the channel. In this video, we're going to be talking about how to know how much weight you should be lifting. All right, so first and foremost, we're going to cover a prerequisite that everybody should have. Number two, we're going to talk about the RPE and RIR, and we'll get into that, but that's going to be your gauge. And then number three, we're going to talk about things to just be sure of when you're going into your workouts, when you're going into your weightlifting journey. All right, and last but not least, a little bonus. I could do a whole separate video on this, but I will put it in this video if you want to watch until the end. After we cover how much weight you should be lifting, a little bonus part is going to be how to know when to progress the weights you are lifting, how to know when to start lifting heavier, and when you should, bump from 10 pounds to 15 pounds. How do you know when that time comes? So that will be an extra at the end of the video if you want to stick around to watch that, all right? Other than that, let's dive right into the video, all right? Now, first and foremost, I'm going to start this video out by saying, I can't tell you how much weight to lift. I can't tell you that because only you can tell me that. And we're going to talk about how in this video right here, but just know that there is not going to be, oh, Carol, lift this X amount of weight for these reps. Yes, myself as a coach, for example, I can give you the reps you need to do. I can give you the exercises you need to do. I can give you the sets you need to do. But I can't tell you how much weight to lift because truly only you know how much weight you should be lifting. You don't know right now, but you're gonna know when this video is over. So watch the whole video, make sure you know, because I want you to leave this video confident in yourself, knowing, okay, I know what to expect and I know how much weight I should be lifting to safely see progress, right? So first and foremost, prerequisite. What I like to tell all of my online coaching clients and what I like to tell any of the people out that come to me for advice is, before you start really looking at increasing the weight you're lifting or just how much weight to lift in general, you should be pretty dang confident in yourself in all of your body weight movements and even things beyond body weight movements, things like shoulder presses, things like bent over rows, so on and so forth. And so, for example, if you are doing a body weight squat or a body weight lunge or a push-up, you should have pretty damn confident You should be pretty damn confident in yourself. You can do those movements correctly and you know how to do them. Now, for example, a push-up. I understand a push-up is difficult. You might not be able to do a push-up from the ground. That's okay, that's not what I mean. You should be able to know the form and how to do a push-up. Same thing with a lunge, same thing with a squat. Just body weight. If you don't feel confident doing a body weight squat, why would you go and then add weight? Because that's probably going to get you injured and you're probably not going to work the right muscles, so you won't see the best results. So first and foremost, make sure you feel confident with especially body weight movements. Now, you're probably saying, Eric, how do I do a shoulder press with a body weight? How do I do a bent over row with a body weight? And again, I understand. So to this, I would say, number one, even things like, for example, a broomstick or a PVC pipe. I've had clients in the past where we started with just a broomstick and did shoulder presses because I wanted them to get the proper form down. Or a bent over row where you're bending over and pulling the broomstick to your chest. A bent over row with the broomstick to, again, make sure they know what the form would look like. So you can do that, or just start with very, 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 very lightweight. That way you can just get the form down, because before you move into looking to lift a certain amount of weight and what we're gonna get into in the rest of this video, you should be confident in yourself that you have a good base of how to exercise. And if you don't, I would say either number one, hire a coach and work with somebody who's a professional who can help you, or you're on YouTube right now, go on YouTube and type in squat form, go on YouTube and type in deadlift form, and so on and so forth, because you'll probably have to watch a ton of videos to make sure you get the right aspect, because who knows what's out there on the interweb. But you can spend time researching on how to do proper form with any given exercise. All right, so that's prerequisite. You should be able to feel confident in yourself either with body weight or very, very lightweight, that you know the form, you're very, very confident in them. And again, for example, with all of my online coaching clients, they get a new program every single month. And I tell them the first week of the program, yeah, we're gonna be lifting weights, but that first week is just getting used to the new exercises, getting used to the new workout. Once they get used to it, then they can progress and talk what we're gonna, and do what we're gonna talk about here in the rest of this video. But getting used to and feeling confident in yourself is a big thing, because if you don't feel confident in yourself, probably not much is going to happen after that. All right, so that's number one, prerequisite. Make sure you try to have that down pat as best as you can. All right, now diving into number two, which is going to kind of be the meat and potatoes here. There is something called an RPE scale and an RIR scale. And I'm going to put some pictures here above right here of what the RPE and RIR scale look like and what they are. Let's talk about them. The RPE scale, this is your rate of perceived exertion. So basically, on a scale of 1 to 10, how hard do you feel like you're pushing yourself, right? So that is rate of perceived exertion, and RIR is reps in reserve. And this means, so for example, if you're doing a set of 10 reps, when you get done that set of 10 reps, once you hit that 10th rep, ask yourself, how many reps did I have left? How many reps in reserve did I have left? Did I have, could I have done 2 more reps? Could I have done 5 more reps? Could I have done 10 more reps? If I really pushed myself, how many more reps did I really have? These two scales, the RPE scale and the RIR scale, they are your two most important scales to look into, because again, like I said here, it's going to be your gauge. I told you earlier at the start of this video, I can't tell you how much weight to lift, but I can give you these gauges to be able to let you know where you should be and what these numbers should look like in order for you to see the best results possible. So let's talk about numbers very quickly. So numbers for the RPE and RIR. So remember, RPE is rate of perceived exertion. This is basically just how hard was that set. For your RPE scale, you should be anywhere from a 7 to a 10 on that RPE scale, right? So for example, if a 10 is, it's super, super, super hard and you legit failed, like you could not do another bicep curl or you could not get up from your squat, that would be a 10 on the RPE scale. That's failing, right? And you're gonna see here, the RPE scale and the RIR scale kind of work hand in hand. So for example, a 10 on the RPE scale is a 0 on the RIR scale, because the RIR scale is reps in reserve. So if you failed, you had no reps in reserve. You completely failed, right? And again, a 9 on the RPE scale is a 1 on the RIR scale, because a 9 is saying, okay, I maybe could have done 1 more rep if I was lucky. An 8 on the RPE scale is a 2 on the RIR scale, because again, if you get done a set of 10 reps and said, wow, I maybe could have done 2 more reps, that's an 8 on the RPE scale, and that's a 2 on the RIR scale, right? So that is how, and again, so I put these numbers here. You should be anywhere in between this range for every single exercise, for pretty much every single set of every single day. You should be pushing yourself close to failure. I don't normally recommend completely going to failure for many things. I will say this, going to failure on a sumo deadlift and going to failure on a dumbbell bicep curl are two different things, right? Because going to failure on a sumo deadlift, you could cause some injury there, right? It's going to be very taxing on you. You could round your back, you could hurt yourself. That's gonna be different than, if you go to failure on a dumbbell bicep curl, what's the worst that happens? You just you can't get up and you drop the weight, right? So I would say for more of your compound, more strength-based, more bigger movements like squats, deadlifts, overhead presses, stuff like that, normally I would not push to a 10 on the RPE scale or a 0 on the RIR scale. Now, for things like bicep curls, side lateral raises, tricep extensions, you can go closer to failure, if not failure, on those and be totally okay, because number one, your injury risk is pretty low, because again, you would just drop the weight, or if you can't get a lateral raise up, you just drop the weight, it's not gonna injure you. And number two, it's less taxing on your central nervous system than, say, a barbell back squat or a barbell deadlift or something like that. So you can recover a lot better from going to failure on those more isolation movements than you can on the bigger compound movements. So that's what I would say. And again, in terms of where you should be, I would say, every single set of every single exercise, of every single day, you should be pushing within this range. I would say normally I tell my clients to be within the 7 to 9 RPE and be within the 1 to 3 RIR. So you should get done that set and say, wow, I maybe could have done 2 more reps if I really pushed myself. I maybe could have done 2 more reps. I maybe could have done 1 more rep if I was lucky. I was getting very, very close to failure. And again, if you have a set of 10 reps, those 8th, 9th, and 10th reps, those should be hard reps. They should not be easy reps. You should not be just pushing through them like it's nothing, like you're about to drink some coffee afterwards. Like, they should be difficult reps. You should maybe struggling a bit, like maybe having to, take a big breath, catch your breath, and then, finish those last 3 reps. They should be hard reps. Strength training is not supposed to tickle. This is not supposed to be super easy. You have to push yourself to those limits in order to see results. Obviously, do it safely, but you have to be able to find a way to push yourself to those limits in order to see results. And again, if you're getting done your set of 10 reps and you're like, well, I could have done 8 more, you're not lifting heavy enough. You have to lift heavier if you want to see progress. So that would be, in terms of the question, how much weight to lift, I would say that. If you get done your set and you say, wow, I could have done 5 more reps if I really tried, probably, you got to lift heavier. And again, you want to be in this RPE, RIR range right here. And that's your gauge. That's your gauge of, and again, everybody's strength is different. Everybody starts different. Somebody who's been lifting for 20 years is going to have a different, number they should lift as opposed to somebody who has been lifting for a year. Those are going to be 2 different scenarios, right? Because one may have more strength, one may have an injury, one may be, for example, I suck at barbell back squats, but I'm good at front squats, so my front squats can be better. So it all depends. But here is your gauge. This is how you know how much weight to lift. The 2 biggest things: stay within this 1 to 3 RIR scale, so 1 to 3 reps in reserve. Get done a set and say, I maybe could have done 1, 2, or 3 more reps max. Anything above 3, you should probably lift heavier, and stay in the 7 to 10 RPE range. All right, so that is the answer to that question. That's how you will know how much weight you should be lifting. All right, so now moving along to just making sure of a few different points. Number 1, never sacrifice form for more weight. And let me clarify, because listen, when you're grinding out reps, like when if you're doing a set of 10 reps, those 8th, 9th, and 10th reps, they're going to be hard. And especially those that last rep or those last 2 reps, your form may not be perfect, 100% perfect, picture perfect every single time. And that's okay. I don't expect that to happen. And sometimes that happens when you're pushing yourself very, very hard. But that doesn't mean, the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th rep, they all suck. Your form should be pretty damn good for every single one of those reps. Sure, the last 1 or 2, you may be, struggling a bit, but that doesn't mean the entire set is supposed to look like that, because if that's the case, you're probably lifting too heavy and you should probably drop back down. So never sacrifice proper form for more weight for 2 reasons. Number 1, obviously the reason you're probably thinking is you're going to get injured. You're going to hurt yourself, whether it's on a back squat, whether it's on a deadlift, whether it's on a bent over row, whatever it is, you can probably injure yourself. But number 2, you're not going to work the right muscles anyway. So that's cool, you're lifting all this weight, but if for example, if you're deadlifting and you just keep putting weight on and you're just rounding your lower back, your hamstrings and your glutes are not getting worked anymore. Your lower back is getting worked and gonna get injured, but your lower back is getting worked. So you're not gonna get better glutes and hamstrings because your glutes and hamstrings are not doing the work. So you're not gonna see optimal results. And oftentimes just coaching people, I've found it's not enough to say you're gonna get injured, because some people don't believe you nor care about that, but they do care about getting results. So if you want the best results, never sacrifice form for more weight. And again, like I said, sometimes your form's not gonna be 100% perfect. That's okay, but when you're in control of a weight and you know what your form is like and when it's probably not the best. And brings me to my second point. You should be in control of the weight the entire time. The weight should not control you. If you're doing 10 pounds on a bicep curl and that you feel controlled, you feel pretty good. You go to 15 pounds and you're like jerking it up and you got to go up and down and it's like throwing you down. It's too heavy. Drop the weight. Again, number 1, you're going to get injured. Number 2, you're not going to get the results. You should always be able to control the movement. Oftentimes, especially early on in your weightlifting career, it's very easy to just let momentum do the work and your muscles kind of get put by the wayside. Remember, your muscles are the tool, like the weight is the tool for your muscles. I can flex my bicep right now and it's getting worked. But when I have 10 pounds in my hand, that's extra 10 pounds of resistance. But if I'm just going like this, my muscles aren't doing the work anymore. It's the momentum and God knows what else is. You're using your sex muscles for your hips and stuff. Like everything else is getting the work besides the biceps. So just make sure you don't sacrifice weight for form and make sure you are always in control of the weight. And this probably means slow your reps down a bit, especially if you're an early lifter. I've seen many people do this, and I've coached clients through this. Slow everything down. You don't have to rush. You don't have to use momentum. Like, take your time, control the weight, be confident, and you'll be less injured and you'll see better results. So guys, that was the video in terms of how much weight to lift. If you have any questions, concerns, let me know. Again, biggest takeaways, when you're doing a set, those last 8, 9, or 10 reps should be hard. The last 3 reps of your set should be hard, no matter if it's 6 reps, no matter if it's 5 reps, no matter if it's 20 reps. The last 3 reps of your set should be hard for every set. And then again, beyond that, looking to stay in the 0 to 3 or the 7 to 10 RPE and RIR scales, respectively. And again, just remember, 2 biggest things: be in control of the weight and do not sacrifice more weight for less form. All right, so that was the video. Now, I'm gonna wipe this board clean and we're gonna talk about how to progress your weights and how to progress your weights and how to know when you should lift heavier weights. So if you wanna stick around, see you in a second. Alrighty guys, so if you're still here, awesome, glad to have you. Let's talk about how to increase the weight you're lifting and know when to increase the weight. So there's basically 2 different kind of schemes I'll cover. And I will say, I wrote an entire article on this, so it's going to be in the description below here. I wrote an entire article on my website, so if you want to go more in depth, check out that article. But I'm going to give you 2 main ways here to kind of have something called progressive overload, which is again just increasing the work you're doing over a period of time. So the first way is going to be a linear progression. So let's say you're doing 100 pounds on your squats for 3 sets of 5 reps. That's your rep, right? So 3 sets of 5 reps. You want to get 5 reps. A linear progression is basically kind of just what it sounds like. You're linearly increasing the weight you're lifting. So let's just say week 1, you do 100 pounds for 5 reps. Awesome. Week 2, you do 105 pounds for 5 reps. Awesome. You slowly increase. You didn't put 25 pounds on each side. You slowly increase 2.5 pounds on each side of the bar. So week 2, 105 pounds for 5 reps. Week 3, 110 pounds for 5 reps. Week 4, 115 pounds for 5 reps. So now in the course of 4 weeks, you've increased 15 pounds. That would be, by the way, absolutely amazing. This is especially the case earlier on for earlier lifters. And again, once you've gotten your form down and so on and so forth, when you're in the beginner stages of your lifting career, you're going to see the best progress you've ever seen in your entire life. That's why also I tell all people all the time, like, if you are new to lifting at all, you're a beginner, please work with somebody who knows what the hell they're doing, because you are going to see, regardless, you're going to see the best progress of your life. But if you can work with somebody who has a good plan, they know what they're doing, they can set you up for success, your results are going to skyrocket. I wish I could be in my newbie beginner stage all the time, because that's when I saw the best progress. That's when everybody sees the best progress. So take advantage of that time, I beg of you. So, but again, that's a simple linear progression. You're just going to keep, slowly but surely, week by week, doing more. At some point, obviously, this is going to kind of level out, because we can't just, but and that means in 14 weeks you'd be lifting whoever 3, 4, 5, 800 pounds. Obviously, that's not going to happen. And when that does happen, that's a whole different story I won't get into in this video. But a linear progression is just simply doing a bit more, 5 pounds to the bar, whatever it is, each time you go in. That's one way of going about it. This is normally my preferred way for things like, again, your bigger compound movements, things like squat, bench, deadlift, push-ups, all those kind of things, right? So that's a linear progression. And now something called a double progression scheme. I use this a ton with my clients, and it's one of my most favorite ways to increase the weight you're lifting. So let's say week 1, you're doing 20-pound bicep curls for 3 sets of 10, right? Because we're having a rep range. It's not just, hey, it's not like this where I say do 3 sets of 5. This is saying, hey, 3 sets of 10 to 12 reps. You give yourself a range, right? I'm going to show you why you do that here in a second. Week 1, you start at 20 pounds for 3 sets of 10 reps, right? Now, let's say you get done that, you're like, wow, I can't really go heavier. That was pretty tough, but like I want to, I want to progress. I want to do more. I want to lift heavier. Awesome. This is where the double progression scheme comes in. So let's say week 1, you do that. Week 2, you do 3 sets of 11, because again, the rep range is 3 sets of 10 to 12. So week 2, you do 3 sets of 11 with 20 pounds. Week 3, you do 3 sets of 12 with 20 pounds. So now in 3 weeks, you've gotten from the bottom of the rep range to the top of the rep range. Now, once you get to the top of that rep range, that's when you can increase weight to the next thing and then go back down to the bottom of the rep range. So as you see, week 4, you're lifting 22.5 pounds at 3 sets of 10. And then again, from there, you go 3 sets of 10, 3 sets of 11, 3 sets of 12. Awesome. Now, next weight, 3 sets of 10, 3 sets of 11, and so on and so forth, right? So that is one of by far my favorite ways to increase the weight you're lifting over a period of time, because again, strength is not always going to be linear. Like sometimes you're not going to be able to lift more weight, and that's okay, but there's other ways to progress. And the last thing I'll say is, let's say you have 3 sets of 10 and 12 reps, and on week 1, you did 3 sets of 10 reps. If week 2, you do 1 set of 11 reps and 2 sets of 10 reps, that's still doing more. That's still progress. That's still progressive overload, which is the most important thing to change your body and get stronger. So you're still doing more. And then week 3, you would do 2 sets of 11 reps and 1 set of 10 reps. Week 4, you would do 3 sets of 11 reps. And you're slowly but surely increasing, right? So guys, hope this video helped. Hope all the video helped. I hope you now know how to know how much weightlifting, when to increase the weight, how you would increase the weight, so on and so forth. Again, if you want a bit more in-depth on this, check out the article I put in the description here below. I think you can find it incredibly helpful. Other than that, any questions, concerns, drop them below, but we will talk soon. If you like the video, feel free to like the video, subscribe to the channel, ask me a question. I will help you however I possibly can. All right, so we'll talk soon. Thank you so much.